Good morning, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car again. I'm heading to one of my local comic book shops a few days after Free Comic Book Day happened. It's a Monday morning that I'm driving right now, and I'm not sure if the video is going to come out on a Monday, so don't get freaked out. But I'm heading up there a few days after Free Comic Book Day, and the reason I'm doing it a few days after is because I was in Philadelphia for the Fan Expo. And if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that video, you got to check it out. I had a great time, and I got some fantastic autographs. So definitely check out that video. And if I remember, I will put a link at the end of this show so you can go back and watch that. But I'm heading up to Cards, Comics, and Collectibles. This is a store that I've spotlighted countless times on this channel. It is one of the oldest shops here in the Baltimore area, and they are also the owner, Mark, is the one who originated the Baltimore Comic-Con, and they still run it to this day. One of the best pure comic book centric conventions out there. You don't have a lot of celebrities, and when you do, it's off to the side. It is not the main focus. Unlike the Fan Expo that I just went to, it's a completely different thing, and they bring in so many comic book creators. But I'm getting off topic. Topic today is the free comic books that you should have been able to pick up on Saturday. I just was not here. I was, as I said, in Philadelphia for Fan Expo. So I'm heading up to the shop right now, and I picked Cards, Comics, and Collectibles out of all the numerous local comic book shops I've got in the area, because I know that they always bring in a ton of the free comic books, and I'm banking on the fact that they've got some left. So we'll see when we get there. I'll get there. I probably will not do any footage from inside, but I will pick up some comics, and when I come back, I'll show off all the new free comic books that I picked up. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, everybody, I just finished up at Cards, Comics, and Collectibles, and they definitely had some free comic books left. That's why I chose them. They usually buy a lot, and they usually have some left over. That's why I was glad to go there. I didn't pick up everything, but I did pick up things that were of interest. So we'll get home and I'll show off everything I picked up, plus a few other things that I picked up from the store. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Many unbearable hours later.
All right, everybody, I made it back home. Let's go through the books that I picked up for Free Comic Book Day, even though it was 2 days later. Let's start off with what I usually pick up. First are the Marvel and DC books. We've got Superman Ultimate Universe right here. Now, I cannot speak to any of these books. Unlike the last couple of years, I really didn't get into figuring out what were going to be the hot free comic books. I just didn't have time. And with me going to Fan Expo, all my efforts went into that and getting ready for that. So I kind of let Free Comic Book Day slide to the side, and I just didn't focus on it. So if you guys know if I should have picked up extra copies of some of these, if there's one of these that's particularly hot, you got to let me know, because you're not going to get it from me at this point, because I just went in there and picked up what I found interesting. Let's keep going here. We have Absolute Power from DC. Marvel has a Star Wars book here, and can't go wrong with a Luke and Darth Vader cover right there. That's pretty cool. I will always pick up a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Who is Night Watcher? I'm not familiar with the Turtles as that much, especially not these days. Is this a new character? I don't know. You can let me know that. I did pick this up. It is Barda, and usually I don't pick up things quite drawn like this. This is more geared towards kids and everything. But after going to the Fan Expo, I realized that we got to have young people in this hobby. Young people got to start reading comics again, or this comics industry is going to go away. Everybody's so interested in anime and things like that, that if comics don't do something to get the young people back in there, boys and girls, then we're going to have trouble down the line. And while this may not be a book of particular interest to me, although I always like Big Barda, the style is very kid-like, and that's okay. Kids like comics, right? So hopefully that will lead to whatever kids get this will get into comics, and they'll become lifelong readers like most of us are. I did have to pick this up. This is pretty cool. What a great Superman cover from Mad. Couldn't pass that up. fact, that was probably the first thing I did pick up, was that right there. Let's see. And then we've got some other titles away from DC and Marvel. I had to get this. It's got the classic pre-code horror cover. I don't know the particular issue that comes from. People like Ryan from Automatic Comics could probably just instantly tell you that this is such and such issue. But that, of course, caught my attention, so I had to pick that up. We've got the Valiants from Valiant. And there's no way I could pass this up. Such a fan growing up, watching reruns of the cartoon series, as well as collecting the comic book in the mid-'80s with Comico, or Comico, however you want to pronounce it. We've got Johnny Quest. I think I still have all of the shows taped someplace. I never did buy the collection that they put out on DVD, which is what I probably should have done. But at some point, they were running them on, I want to say Cartoon Network or something like that, back in the days of VHS, and I know I taped that someplace. So somewhere over in the cabinet right over there, I probably have a full Johnny Quest collection of shows. I have to dig that out at some point. I had to get this, The Worlds of James Tynion IV. So we got some of his different books in here that go through some of his stories, just a few pages. I don't know if they're reprints from the actual books or if they're original stories or original preview stories. My guess is that these are taken out of some of the other publications that he's put out. Here we've got the Integron. How do you say that? I'm mispronouncing it. The universe. This is something that is not my cup of tea. Everybody out there tells me, oh, you should have jumped in on this, and it's not me. None of the stuff that was coming out with the Transformers, G.I. Joe, that whole universe, I had to pull the cord at some point and not get everything, and I just did not jump onto this. I know you guys, there's probably a lot of you out there who like this whole Transformers, G.I. Joe universe that's going on, Void Rivals, all that. It's just not me. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. Got this beautiful Disney Villains Maleficent cover right there. I think that's straight from the comic itself. I don't know if that's just a reprint from the original comic or not, but beautiful cover. Can't pass up Hellboy, guys. Never can pass up Hellboy when you've got Mike Mignola actually doing the artwork for his creation. And they did have some younger kid books, even younger than that Barda book. And I didn't realize that they have a different color coding system on here. And if you notice that maybe all of these that I've sewn so far have got the blue labels up here. And I imagine that's teen plus books, but I did pick up this one here. It's mostly because it's Star Wars, and you never know when a Star Wars comic like this will have some sort of new character that becomes canon. But we've got the Young Jedi Adventures right there, and you can see it's got the green Free Comic Book Day label up here, and that's for the younger kids. So pick that up. In the same way, you also have adult titles, and they've got the red label, and you've got this is Ganable? Am I pronouncing that right? It is a Japanese manga book, and it's done left to right rather than right to left. Or did I get that right? I can't remember. But it's Japanese, so it's opening up from the left side, not the right side like we're used to here in America. I'll have to check that out and see what that's all about. And there's no way I was going to pass this up. Any Conan book with Jim Zub, I'm going to pick up, and that right there is an adult title as well. This is one of my favorite ongoing titles these days that are not DC or Marvel. So I continue picking up Conan, and anything Jim Zub has been doing with Conan, I think he could be doing a little bit better, but the art's been fantastic, and the writing's definitely good enough to make the series worth getting. So those were what I picked up as free comic books. There were other things that I did not pick up, and if I missed anything, you guys are going to have to let me know if I should go back and try to pick something else up. I might have missed some major key, but I need your guys' help in figuring that out. But that wasn't the only things I picked up there. And mostly because I didn't want to just go in there and pick up a bunch of free comics. So I took a look around. I went through the back issues, and they have at Cards, Comics, Collectibles a tremendous amount of premium back issues. And that doesn't mean that they're all just Golden Age, Silver Age, or even Copper. It means that they could be any of those things, and even new books that are all, I don't want to say keys, but they are better books. They're not common books. And I ended up finding a couple of books in there. I'm not even going to mention it because I'm going to jinx it. And I didn't like the price tag on them, although I was about ready to pull the trigger. And I said, well, if it's still there by the time they have another sale, I'll pick it up. So I passed on that. And mostly because I'm also trying to save up a little bit to get ready to go to Heroes Con here in June, and that's going to be a big deal. Taking the wife down, we're going to have a great weekend down there, and I'm trying to focus a little bit more on that and getting ready for that. Even at Fan Expo, I spent so much money on just a limited number of autographs. I can only imagine what's going to happen to me when I get down to Heroes Con. So, but I did pick up a few things because I do like to support the store. I did go through the new back issues, and what I did pick up was this. Even though I've got Blood Hunt #1, I went ahead and picked this up. I wasn't going to do it, but I decided to take a look at it. It is the Blood Hunt #1, the red, what is this? It's called the, is it the Red Line series? It's got the more adult content. I'm curious. I want to see what they're exactly doing with this. And I'll have to compare it to the regular issue of Blood Hunt #1 just to see what the differences are. Thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't pick this up last week at New Comic Book Day, but I kind of wanted to, and after getting a chance to thumb through it a little bit, I really am intrigued by the artwork. But the title is just as good, Bear Pirate Viking Queen. Don't know if that's anything significant, but I thought this was really cool. In fact, the first thing I thought of was I almost thought this was Bill Sienkiewicz's work, but it's not, but it is some really interesting artwork in there. And then, as I said, I did go through some of the back issues, and there was a book that I had wanted to take up to Philadelphia. In fact, I was going to get the first 5 to 6 issues of this run signed by Brian Hitch. And because I couldn't, the issue that I had was not as good as I would have liked, I kind of pulled back on getting all of them signed except for the very first issue. And what I'm talking about is his run on the very first volume of the Ultimates, and the issue that I had in question was issue #3 with Captain America. And if I'd had a better copy of this one, I probably would have gotten the first 6 to 7 issues, maybe even 8 issues done, because every issue except for issue #1 had featured one of the major Avengers: Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. And who am I forgetting? I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Black Widow, did I mention that? I don't know. But because the Captain America one was not as good as the others, I just kind of pulled back, and I focused on getting Ultimates #1 signed, as well as some of his newer work on the Ghost Machine universe books, like Red Code and some of the other Ghost Machine books that he's worked on. So that's what I picked up at Cards, Comics, and Collectibles today. Next time they have a sale going on up there for some of the back issues, I'll have to go back and take a look for those other back issues that I was very much interested in. I hope I don't regret it because the conditions were really good. I just got pulled back because of the price tag a little bit. But if you guys ever get a chance to visit the Maryland area, the Baltimore area, stop by in Reisterstown, Maryland. Go by Cards, Comics, and Collectibles and check them out. I'll leave the link down below in the description so you guys can check out their website and learn more about them. They are also, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the owners, creators of the Baltimore Comic-Con that happens every fall in the Baltimore area here. So I hope you guys can come this fall, and maybe we can meet up, and I'd love to meet any and all of you. So that's it, guys. I'm out of here. Short video today. I hope you enjoyed these comics. Let me know what comics you picked up for Free Comic Book Day, and what comics should I have picked up. Did I miss some? You'll have to let me know. And if you like this kind of content, definitely consider giving me a like, slapping a subscribe, and clicking on that notification bell so you don't miss out on each and every episode that I put out Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a great week. I will see you for the next show. And remember, every comic has a story.